The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good afternoon. My name is Ron Juckett. Good morning or good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to the program for this 15th day of April 2024. Marathon Monday, Patriots Day, Tax Day, Marathon Monday. I think I mentioned that. Whatever you decide to celebrate, we're glad to have you with us on this Monday. First of three this week and two huge National League ball games. Wednesday and Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Today, you got a pretty big one in the American League East. The Detroit Tigers at 35-29, and the Toronto Blue Jays at 36-31. And so that's what we got for you. It's Jim Clancy versus Walt Terrell for you at a wet Tiger Stadium on Saturday, June 18th, 1988. So, again, three huge games this week, with the National League ones being between first and second place. Anyway, for this one, Walt Terrell looking for his 8th win of the year. He only went 7-16 for the Tigers in 1988, so he's pitching better than he did in real life. And Jim Clancy, just always kind of a number 2 or number 3 starter, solid, dependable, reliable, kind of like, an Oldsmobile. Except for he's a pitcher. If you wanted to know about rivalries that you miss, I think the Tigers and the Jays would certainly qualify. They went right down the wire in 87. The Blue Jays replaced the Tigers as divisional champions in 85 after the Tigers won in 84. And this would be kind of the Tigers' last of their great years. And so between 84 and 88, these two were really kind of the top of the class in the American League East. So let's do this, shall we? Let's start off the week. It's the Tigers and the Blue Jays next. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1988 today from Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Michigan. It's the Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web. For your sports simulation and replay needs, find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And so good afternoon, Jeff. And so on a rainy day here in Detroit, the Tigers have won 9 of their last 10, and Pat Sheridan is riding a 10-game hitting streak. 74 degrees, winds blowing right to left here at Tiger Stadium at 10. Play ball! And we should have a good one for you. So Walt Terrell making his 10th start at 29. He's 30 years old. Didn't start the year until April 30th. Fastball at 85 and a ground ball pitcher. And he was expendable with the Mets developing pitchers such as Dwight Gooden and such. And so he, I believe, would go to the Rangers and then go to the Tigers, where he was serviceable. But not the ace. But a good number 3 for the Tigers, and he's won his last 4 decisions. In fact, his last loss came on May 10th against the A's. So 5 days ago against the Orioles, he went the distance. 9 innings, 118 pitches, 6 hits, a run, a solo homer. It was earned. He walked 3 and struck out 3. Overall, 67 innings, 52 hits, 26 runs, 24 earned. 10 homers, he walked 24 and struck out 27. So he is the prototypical pitch-to-contact pitcher. Here's how the Jays are going to line up for you this afternoon. Nelson Lariano leads off at second. Lloyd Mosby in center will bat second. Rance Mullinick's the DH. He goes third. George Bell cleans up in left. Fred McGriff at first will bat fifth. Kelly Gruber at third will go sixth. Ernie Witt behind the plate will go seventh. Jesse Barfield in right will bat eighth, and Banny Lee not there for picture day. He'll bat ninth at short. Terrell can go the distance, and again he throws the Bugs Bunny at 85. Defensively for the Tigers, remember this is the first year that Kirk Gibson is gone, so it's Lance Berkman a 2 and a 1 in left. That's Ramanoodle territory. Pat Sheridan a 2 and a 2 in center. Again, Ramanoodle territory. And Chet Lemon a 7 and an 8 in right. He's the best of the outfielders. Tom Brookins is a 4 at third. Alan Trammell an 8 at second. Lou Whittaker at short, rather, for Trammell. Whittaker an 8 at second. And Darrell Evans a 4 at first. Matt Noakes behind the plate is a 4 and a 4. And Terrell has a 7 range and a 962 fielding percentage. So with all that, a good-sized crowd at Tiger Stadium. Nelson Lariano stepping in at 244, 2 homers, and 17 RBI. For those of you old enough to remember the end of the 87 season, these two teams played the last 2 weekends, and it pretty much was a best of 7 to determine who won the East. And if it wasn't for Tony Fernandez, who is off today, breaking his leg, I honestly think it would have been Toronto. Pitch to Lariano, struck him out. A 1-2 fastball, strike 3. New patch, by the way, for this game. I think I have it. Lloyd Mosby at 235, 3 homers and 22 RBI. Ground ball to Whittaker. Lou Waits throws to first, 2 out. Tribe fan, double morning, early afternoon baseball. That's right. The Guardians are at Fenway for Patriots Day. Vance Mullenix at 240, 6 homers and 27 RBI. Then the Red Sox, oh, by the way, I believe are favoring that one, which surprises the crap out of me. Pitch to Mullenix. Forrest, how are you? And Mullenix draws the walk. Forrest, I'm sure, is still celebrating the Padres' doubleheader win on the last stream. Here's George Bell, 245, 7 homers, and 41 RBI. Jays are 36 and 31. This is game 68 for them. The Tigers are 35 and 29. This is game 65 for them. Ground ball to third. Brookins has it. Whittaker for 1. There is no throw to first. And, well, it doesn't matter because there was 2 out, Ron. Pay attention to what you're doing. You are a semi-professional broadcaster, after all. No runs, no hits, no errors. Half an inning in the books. Toronto and Detroit are scoreless. There will be more bridge. Did you actually enjoy that? I played so bad. Let me tell you about Jim Clancy first. Jim is 6 and 5 with a 4.84 ERA. Go Pods. I'm hearing in the chat. Clancy is making his 15th start of the year. He's got 31 total. 33 years old, so the wily veteran. Fastball at a Bugs Bunny 85. And he doesn't favor the doesn't favor the ground ball nor the fly ball. Last pitched against the Indians 5 days ago and got the win. Although, looking at those stats, I'm not sure how deserved it was. 6 innings, 120 pitches. 12 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned. 3 home runs allowed, and he struck out 6. Overall for Clancy, 96 and 2/3. 105 pitches, 56 runs, 52 earned, 14 homers. He walked 21 and struck out 55. This will be the Tigers lineup for you. Dave Bergman leads off in left field. Lou Whittaker will bat second and play second. Pat Sheridan in center, looking very serious, goes third. Alan Trammell cleans up at short. Darrell Evans at first will bat fifth. Chet Lemon in right will go sixth. Matty Noakes behind the plate will go seventh. Rain Knight, the DH, will bat eighth. I didn't say that out loud, did I? And Tom Brookins at third will go ninth. And Clancy can go 110, which could get him into the eighth. Defensively for the Blue Jays, George Bell, a 4 and a 4 in left. Lloyd Mosby, a 4 and a 2 in center. Jesse Barfield, a 7 and a 9 in right. Gruber, an 8 at third. Manuel Lee, a 5 at short. He was Manny when it came up, but When they started their dynasty run, he became Manuel. Nelson Lariano, a 3 at second. Fred McGriff, a 6 at first. Ernie Witt, a 5 and a 4 behind the plate. And Clancy, don't spin on your keyboard. Ron, a 7 on the mound with a .923 fielding percentage. Dave Bergman at 276, a homer and 8 RBI. Dave's enjoying it. Never played it before and enjoy learning while watching me suck. Did the online tournament last week and did worse. It's an interesting game, Bridge. Bergman draws a walk to start the ball game for the Tigers. 4 straight. Outside for Clancy. Here's Whittaker at 254, 6 homers and 18 RBI. That's past Lariano into center field, and Mosby will have to throw this back in. Bergman is going to hold at second. Mosby has a bad arm, but Bergman is not necessarily the road runner out there at second base. Oh, wow. So Jeff and his wife have played once a week for 20 years. I'm assuming that you do rubber bridge. Pat Sheridan at 278, 6 homers and 26 RBI. Got him. So an 0-2 fastball swung on and missed, 1 out for Trammell. Allen at 309, 8 homers and 39 RBI. Up the middle, and that's a base hit. So what's Bergman going to do here again? Mosby's arm isn't very good, but Bergman will hold at third, and the bases are loaded. 1 out for Darrell Evans. Hitting .231, 8 homers and 21 RBI. So the Tigers trying to take advantage of this bases loaded here in the first. So with the Padres sweeping the Dodgers Thursday on the channel, or yesterday as far as this replay is concerned, when we see them on next Thursday, or we'll see the Dodgers Thursday, they're playing the Reds. And I forget where that is. But the next 2 games this week, 1 and 2 in both the National League divisions. Pitch to Evans. There's a fly ball, right field. Back goes Barfield to the wall, and Jesse makes the catch. And Bergman will tag and run on that arm. Barfield will throw it back in the infield. 2 out, 1-0 Tigers. So a sac fly. 2 out for Lemon, hitting .285, 11 homers. How you doing, Steeler fan? And 49 RBI. So first and second, 2 out. Tigers would like to put more than 1 on the board here. Struck him out. Clancy gets out of it. Wow. The Tigers load the bases and leave 2 on. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. After 1, Detroit 1, Toronto nothing. So McGriff, Gruber, and Witt to face Terrell here in the second. The Crime Dog hitting .298, 12 homers and 40 RBI. Pitch to McGriff. Liner to right. Lemon. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. 1 out. Kelly Gruber at .322, 6 homers and 29 RBI. The stream of the weekend, oh, by the way, if you haven't watched it, was Mr. Gardner's replay of Super Bowl III. He did the entire game in 1 sitting. And it really, 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 if you don't know if you watched it, don't spoil it. But it's 3 highly entertaining hours of tabletop sports drama. Pitch to Gruber. Ball 4. Kelly draws the walk. Terrell missed on a full count curveball just below the knees. So here's Witt, Ernie at 261, 9 homers and 23 RBI. And Napa Football on Gardner's channel is brought to you by Steeler Fans Buggy Whips. Now found in the late 70s and early 80s at your local Spencer's. For reasons we don't need to get into. Scotty's not late today. How are you? Pitch to Witt. There goes Gruber. Hit and run was on. Whittaker goes to first for the out. And John's here, midlife crisis. So Gruber's on second, 2 out for Jesse Barfield. Hitting .238, 5 homers, and 18 RBI. That's exactly the way that was intended to be there, Tribe fan. Buggy Whip sounds like something found in a back room or at a specialty store. Like Spencer's. Along with fart in a can. And all sorts of questionable t-shirts. Pitch to Barfield. There's a ground ball to third. Brookins over to Evans. And Darrell's on the bag. And it's an error. Barfield's going to reach. It gets away from Evans. As Brookins commits his 7th error of the year, Gruber's going to score. And the Blue Jays rather have a run without a hit. And somehow Keith Olbermann's mom finds me again because she got plunked with a throw. So here's Manny Lee hitting .263. No homers and 8 RBI. Yeah, Buggy Whips were out of fashion for a while with the invention of the horseless carriage. But somehow, some way, they made a comeback. Maybe it was the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again. Or maybe because they were prominently featured in the Fredericks of Hollywood catalogs of the day. Pitch to Lee. Ground ball to Whittaker. Lou's not going to throw that away. And Manny is retired. The Blue Jays get a run on an error, and they don't get a hit. They have left on 2 after an inning and a half. And after an inning and a half on a rainy day in Detroit, it's 1-1. So Noakes, Knight, and Brookins to face Clancy here in the second. Matt at .313, 7 homers, and 26 RBI. So little did we know that Steeler fans' product of choice would find a second life. Tucked away in the ads of Rolling Stone magazine, Fredericks of Hollywood, Spencer's, along with weird-looking fuzzy handcuffs. Oh, Tribe fan says that actually hit Dan Petrie's wife, who was protecting 6-month-old Jeff. But she'd be traveling with the Angels in '88, not the Tigers. Pitch to Noakes. Ground ball to Liriano over to McGriff for the out. Be Steve Saxbaum that would hit, because she certainly would watch Steve throw the ball at that point. Here's Ray Knight hitting .267, a home run and 16 RBI. Or maybe John Lester's mom. Knight gets plunked. Nancy Lopez cringes as he gets nailed in the midsection on a 2-1. So 1 out, runner on first. Yep. Nice, though, for Tribe fan to add some color to the show. Tom Brookins at .283, a home run and 14 RBI. Dan has not really liked life at Disney World or Disneyland, if I'm looking at those lines when we quick sim the rest of the games. The only reason why I bring up Jeff is, oh, that's right, he was a defenseman for the Habs. All right, well, thanks for checking in, Steeler fan. Always good to have you along. And don't sell too many more of those Buggy Whips, right? Brookins strikes out. Clancy's fan 3, 2-2. Tipped right in the mid of Ernie Witt, 2 out. And, of course, Uncle Ron's Snake Oil later became Mountain Dew. Opening 9 for Clancy, 41 pitches, an inning and 2/3, 2 hits. The run is earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 3. Bergman walked and scored his in the first. This time around, he pops it up in the raindrops. Liriano, that's a rainmaker, my goodness, and will make the catch to retire the side. So Knight will reach on a hit by pitch, and that's it. Tigers have left on 3, and after 2, on this battle of the 401. Yeah, I know my Canadian geography, eh? It's 1-1. So top of the lineup here for the Blue Jays in the third. Liriano, Mosby, and Mullenix. Nelson is 0 for 1. Terrell opening 9, 31 pitches, 2 innings, 2 walks, thanks Jeff, and 1 strikeout. Liriano drops one down. Evans nearly has to go to home plate. Throws to Whittaker covering, and that's pretty out. So that brings up Mosby, who's 0 for 1. Terrell hasn't given up a hit. But thanks to the error by Brookins, it's a 1-1 game. Left field, Bergman. 2 out. Rance, not Lance. Rance Mullenix. Oh, goody. We'd like to thank hardworking Pimp for his spam. Mullenix walked his first time up. 2 out, 1-1 to score. In the left field, Bergman tries to get the eye bleach out from that streaker, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom of the third, 1-1. So here's Lou Whittaker. He singled his first time up. Clancy. Again, you know, the thing with Jim, he was never going to be an ace. That was Steve and later Jimmy Key. But he was reliable as a pitcher. He was going to get you 7-8 innings. He was going to keep you in the ball game. And I suppose older Blue Jay fans are going to remember who he was. But, you know, he'd be in the Hall of Good. Pitch to Whittaker. Fly ball, right field. Barfield going back to the track. It's gone. So for Whittaker, that's his 7th of the year, and the Tigers go up 2-1. Right down the line, just missed the fair pole. It was good. And it's 2-1 Detroit. He also said the secret word, won $100 from all the sirens behind me. Clancy, at least in 88, was home run vulnerable. He gave up 26 and 191 in the third, and has given up 15 in almost 100 innings in the replay. Here's Sheridan. Pat struck out his first time up. Got him. That's 4 for Clancy. A fastball looking on a 1-2. 1 out for Trammell, who singled his first time up. Up the middle, past Liriano into center field. So the Tigers have 4 hits. Evans, sac fly his first time up. Trammell could steal here. Pitch gets away from Witten. I don't have to worry about it. Trammell moves up 90 on the wild pitch. That curveball missed so far inside it nearly hit Evans and got away from Witt. Of course, here at Tiger Stadium, there isn't a lot of room behind home plate, and it kind of bounced back to him. But Trammell, with decent speed, got to second. So it's a full count now to Evans. Yeah, today's game, and John's talking about modern baseball, not today, this game, doesn't seem to value an innings eater like Clancy and how they keep your bullpen fresh. Today, everyone carries 8 relievers, and there's always a couple in the minors waiting. You know, I give Tony Clark... Oh, another one. That's Spammer Central today. Evans with that sac fly. I give Tony Clark credit for at least trying to say, Maybe it's the pitch clock. Evans, ground ball to McGriff. And Fred will take it to the bag for the out. Trammell moves on to third. 2 out for Lemon, who struck out his first time up. But Ron Darling spoke on this a few days ago on SNY, and I think, as John says, you got 8 relievers, and so you only need 6 on a good day. So why not go out there and throw it at 94, 95, 96? Because you're going to have a bevy of relievers who are going to do that for you to get the last 12 outs. And so I think he was saying that the pitch clock thing was not as, it wasn't the reason. You're just playing pitch and catch anyway. The thing is, how do you teach pitchers to pitch instead of throw? Because batters are so good, and you're not getting any of the plate anymore. You leave it out no matter what you throw. Ball go boom. Speaking of which, ball go boom in the right center field for a base hit. Lemon will score Trammell on that single, and the Tigers go up 3-1. And the other thing, and I think that's the more important thing, as Matt Noakes is 0 for 1, is that no matter what sport you play as a kid, you play it year-round now. You're not playing, basketball and baseball if you play football or soccer. You're just playing those sports year-round, and Tribe Fan brings up the point, how do we stop year-round, single sport for youth? It's not that you don't want kids playing sports year-round. It's playing the same sport. You're going to get burnt, especially when you're 12, 13, 14 years old. There's more important things than constantly playing basketball. Pitch to Noakes. Fly ball, right field. Barfield by the Pens. And Jamie makes the good point. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Tigers on the home run. Tigers 3-1 after 3. That is the parents that drive everything. John says, pitch clock, snitch clock. I heard the other day there were more Tommy John surgery 6-8 years ago than the pace we're in this year. You just need to hear about it now until the aces and number 2s are dropping like flies. The point, and I'm not huge into, although I did spend all day yesterday watching the Masters. I don't watch a lot of sports on TV. George Bell is 0 for 1. Wow. I think I'm right there. Tribe Fan says he heard 20% of pitchers under the age of 21 getting TJ surgery. Your body isn't fully formed at 21. Your mind certainly is. And Jeff says at Edmonton, their kids are pushed to play hockey year-round. And I believe you're right. The sport of the future, Scotty, is chess. Bell is 0 for 1 as we get back to the game. Ground ball to Whittaker. Lou throws to Evans for the out. And Fred is 0 for 1. McGriff. I forgot where I was going with that. Parents are pushing, certainly. Popped up. Right side. Evans. Makes the catch 2 out with what FanDuel Tribe says is stating that the sport of the future is curling. 9,000 watching the Botes sisters right now. Yeah. The younger one is a hard watch. The dear old Anna did not have a good time in Spain. Kelly Gruber walked and scored. John, continuing about the pitching, guys are drafted knowing they're going to need TJ. One thing they haven't been able to cure is a rotator cuff tear, and that's a career ender. And again, I think it comes down to, you're right about the year-round baseball. Pitch to Gruber. There's a line drive to left. Bergman makes the catch, and that will retire the side. Finish that thought in a second after 3.5. 3-1 Tigers. So Milwaukee leads the train, by the way, in the American League East. It's a 3-game bulge over Boston and Detroit. Toronto a half game back of Detroit. 3.5 behind Milwaukee. The Yankees are 4.5, and Cleveland has found the precipice, much like a shot left short at a green in Augusta yesterday. Oh, that's right. Now I remember what I was going to say. In the West, Minnesota by a half game over Kansas City. 1 over Oakland and Seattle, still hanging in there, 3 back. Mets and Pirates are next stream. Mets with a 7.5 game bulge, and after the Dodgers crapped the bed in that doubleheader, the Reds lead to 7. And San Diego 7.5. Keith, that played at a lacrosse game where he thought that it was the sport of the future, gave up after 10 years. I think it's one of those things that with all the physicality of that yeah, it's just kind of, it's a smart person's game of the future. And Jamie says youth sports are $1 billion industry, and a big part of it's based on a fool and their money soon parted. That's true. So here's Knight. He reached on, was hit by a pitch his first time up. Is it Strider for Atlanta? Who's the Atlanta ace that just got nailed? Spencer Strider, right? Pitch to Knight, ground ball to Lee, band well over to first for the out. So when we did the old-fashioned World Series last year, I knew that Baltimore was good, but I didn't have any idea about Atlanta. And so when I saw his strikeout numbers, I honestly thought it was a mistake in a data error mistake. He's averaging close to 13 strikeouts per 9. No wonder why you have arm problems. I mean, that's what a reliever does. You don't do that as a starter and be able to harness it. You know, when Ryan was striking out 9, 10 batters per 9 and throwing 18 gazillion pitches, he couldn't harness it. And when he did harness it, back when he went with the Astros, well, first of all, he had a big ballpark. And second of all, he wasn't throwing 350 innings a year at that point. Brookins struck out his first time up. Clancy's pitch got him. That's 5 for Jim. And there's 2 out for Berkman, who is 0 for 1. He has walked and scored. Clancy, 18 batters, 83 pitches, 3 2/3, 5 hits, the home run to Whittaker, a walk and 5 strikeouts. Andrew, how are you? It's a Strider's second TJ. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's what happened to Strasburg, too. Jeff's doing a Braves 23 replay, and Strider's averaging 14 Ks a game. And again, the thing is, you got a rotation of relievers. Pitch to Bergman is a base hit. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Going to drop in front of Mosby. A 2-out single. 6 hit for the Tigers. Whittaker is 2 for 2. He is singled and homered in his 7th of the year. Again, your job is to get 18 outs. It is not to get 27 outs. And, you know, as far as the teams are concerned, you got to do what's best to win. And I think one of the things that they learned from Pedro Martinez is, I mean, Pedro fell off a cliff after batter 27. You know, the correct play, I mean, all that really matters is what your team record is. And look, we can get you 9 outs, and we can put in a fresh arm to get you those 9 outs every inning. I can't blame teams for doing that. They're looking at the same data that we are. They're watching the same video that we are. Pitch to Whittaker. Struck him out, and Clancy is fan 6. He's thrown 91 pitches through 4, but he's fan 6. And after 4, no runs, a hit and no errors. It's the Tigers 3, the Jays 1. So Witt, Barfield, and Lee to face Terrell. And so again, you know, I think implementing the pitch clock was the right idea because you're just playing toss and catch. I mean, that's what you should be doing. But Yeah, not even 18 anymore. Only the aces are expected to get 18 outs half the time. No, you're right, because you watch a lot of ball. Again, if you taught someone to pitch as opposed to throw, could they be successful? I mean, that's how good the batters are in today's game. Pitch to Witt. Ground ball to Brookins. Tom picks it up along the line, throws to Evans. Ernie is safe on a bang banger. How about that? And that is the first hit of the ball game for the Blue Jays. An infield hit in the 5th. So here's Barfield. He's 0 for 1. Ground ball to Brookins. Might be 2. Whittaker for 1. Over to Evans. And that is 2. So a 5-4-3 double play. Manny Lee is 0 for 1. Andrea Botez, the younger of the two Botez sisters, won her first game, beat a guy with a 200 rating better than her. Both the Botez sisters are both good poker players. And if you understand mathematical probability, which is a lot of chess, you're going to be good at poker. Pitch to Lee. Round ball past Evans into right field, and that's a hit. So what, in your estimation, gang, would be the solution? Not to the Botez sisters. They're not interested. Here's Lariano. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Terrell, 18 batters, 62 pitches. 4 2/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. There's already complaining online by Giants followers, San Francisco, that Snell is going to kill their bullpen. He throws as hard as he can and no idea where it goes. Throws 100 pitches in 4 2/3. The one thing is, get off my lawn. 2-time Cy Young winner, most overrated both times, is that you get 2 strikes on a batter and then you start to nibble. Don't waste your pitches. Pitch to Lariano. Ground ball left side, base hit. So the Blue Jays, quietly, as we argue about other things, have got a rally going. Is Lee going to go to third? He is. Bergman's arm is horrible. And so first and third, 2 out for Mosby, who was 0 for 2. To Trammell, he has to wait for it. Snap throw to Evans. And you get the commercial. Blue Jays threaten but do not score. They get their first 3 hits of the ball game. And on a 45-degree cool day here in Burlington, it's the Tigers 3, the Jays 1. Join us late. Tigers and Jays from Detroit, 3-1 Detroit. Darrell Evans a sac fly to make it 1-0 Tigers in the first. Blue Jays tied it in the second. A Jesse Barfield ground ball. That was an E5 that nailed Keith Olbermann's mom, who seems to be a groupie of mine, to make it 1-1. In the third, Lou Whittaker put one down the line and right, his 7th of the year, to make it 2-1. Then Chet Lemon with an RBI single to score Alan Trammell to make it 3-1. And the Blue Jays failed to score on 3 hits in the 5th. So Clancy, 6 hits through 4, has thrown 91 pitches. He has struck out 6, given up 3, and walked a batter. Walt Terrell, 1 unearned run through 5, 3 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And so I guess to give Snell some cover, I mean, that's what they grow up telling, as you're a kid. Strike out everybody. Don't make contact. Look, it's Major League defense behind you. They are good fielders. It's not all DHs out there. Pat Sheridan, by the way, has struck out twice. He's 0 for 2. Clancy starts the 5th. Base hit left field. Bell will pick it up. Alan Trammell's 2 for 2. He has singled twice and scored. And the one advantage, and you know that they would have used this in any era if it had existed, is the sheer amount of video that's available to study pitchers. I mean, we're in a day and age where there are advanced stats for everything. Spin rates on fastballs and curveballs and all that. And so back in the 80s, when you would hear about someone going through and watching the tape of how a pitcher worked, pitch to Trammell, ball 4, and his runners on first and second with nobody out for Darrell Evans, who has a sac fly. He's 0 for 1. You can now do that on a tablet between at-bats. And again, why wouldn't you? The whole point is for teams to try to get an advantage over each other. Witt and Clancy have a word. Right center, Mosby makes the catch, and see what Sheridan does here. Trammell back to first, and it was too shallow for Sheridan to go. 1 out. There's Chet Lemon. Chet is 1 for 2. He has driven in a run and struck out. So first and second, 3-1 Tigers. Got him. That's 7 for Clancy. Not sure he gets out of the into the 6th, but he is fan 7. A 1-2 curve, swung on and missed. So here's Noakes. He's 0 for 2. And he draws the walk. I had a cousin that was a very good Little League pitcher, as in prospect type pitcher. But he pitched in the 70s. Ray Knight, by the way, 0 for 1, and was hit by a pitch, and got taught at an early age how to throw the curveball and wrecked his arm. And Jamie says pitchers and hitters have more info and data than at any time in the game. To be fair, in the history of baseball, pitchers with a high walk-to-strikeout ratio have been successful, and that's the way pitching is geared today. Yep, no one wastes a lot of pitches. Yep, John, Max Scherzer is probably the same way. Love watching these guys pitch, but there's something to be said about pitching a real gem. Kurt Schilling's fastball used to be 2 or 3 miles an hour faster than late in the game. Yeah, you'd hold something back. Got him, and so Clancy has struck out 8. Oh, by the way, the Tigers have left on 8. No runs, a hit, no errors, and after 5, 3-1 Detroit. So Mullenix, Bell, and McGriff. Rance is 0 for 1 with a walk. And just because it's a different game doesn't mean it's a worse game or a better game. It's just a different game. Pitch to Mullenix. Base hit into center field over Whittaker and in front of Sheridan. And the Blue Jays have a leadoff single. That's their 4th hit. George Bell is 0 for 2. That's true. Scotty mentioned Washington Western University softball. 34-4. 4 wins this weekend on 37 runs, 50 hits, 8 homers. They are fun to watch. He sent me some highlights over Canada's NCAA entry, Simon Fraser. And Jamie says, I think baseball is played smarter. Yeah, but that doesn't make it better. Absolutely agree. John says, I resemble that. I learned to throw a really good 12-6 curve in the 8th grade and fell in love with it. Said, with a dead arm in the 9th grade, no pain. It just felt like I was throwing underwater. Yeah, I think that's what happened to Eddie. Evans, Trammell for 1. Back to Evans for 2. How about that? So a 3-6-3 double play, and there's 2 out in the 6th with nobody on for Fred McGriff, who's 0 for 2. The thing with year-round anything is there needs to be limits. And so not only are you telling prospective high school pitchers that you got to throw it as hard as you can, but what kind of inning limit is there? Back to Terrell, over to Evans for the out, and that will retire the side. Jays go almost in order. They give up a hit, but hit ground in the double play, and after 5.5, 3-1 Tigers. So Brookins, and then the top of the lineup, Bergman and Whitaker. Clancy going to stay for the moment. Brookins has struck out twice. And so if you are, let's say, a junior or senior in high school, pitch to Brookins. Slow ground ball to Lee, and that's a bad play. Lee waited. That infield is thick, and Brookins reaches on the infield single. So number 8th hit for the Tigers. That's what I meant to say. That'll do it for Clancy. It'll be Jose Nunez. Nunez making his 6th appearance, 0-2, a 7.40 ERA. When your ERA is up there on the AM dial, that's not good. He's 24 years old, fastball at 92, and a ground ball pitcher. He faced the Red Sox 16 days ago in a 5-1 loss and took the loss. 4 2/3, 92 pitches, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned. Did we do that game? 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Overall for Jose, 20 2/3, 21 hits, 18 runs, 17 earned. He's given up 2 homers. He has walked 18 and struck out 7, and 1949 says hi. So Bergman 1 for 2, top of the lineup for the Tigers, has walked and scored and singled. And he walks. There's a shot. 4 out of the zone. In real life, Nunez in 29 1/3 walked 17 and struck out 18. Whitaker's had himself a day, 2 for 3, a single, a solo homer, and a strikeout. They count pitches now, not innings in Little League and later, 6 innings in Little League and 7 in high school, 1 game per week. Tribe fan says center fielder for the Red Sox is having himself a heck of a defensive game. Stole 2 extra base hits. Nice, and made a nice landing catch. That's true, and Jamie says another thing to consider is in the warm weather areas like Florida, Texas, California, they've been playing year-round forever. What? It's not like Vermont where you have 6 weeks of good weather? Mosby will mosey over, make the catch. Brookins will go to third. 1 out. Runners on the corners for Sheridan. Pat 1 for 3. Singled and struck out twice. Scotty says there's an article online that blames his childhood friend and hero, Steve Klein, on the modern pitch count because how the Yankees have used his arm in 72 and 73. Was that Houck's second stint with the Yankees then? The Yankees, right around the time just before they moved to Shea while Yankee Stadium was being renovated, were in contention. They had become good again. They weren't world beaters. It was also right around the time of the sale to Steinbrenner. Pitch to Sheridan. Up the middle, they might get 2 out of this. Brookins is going to score. They're going to get probably 1. Lariano to lead for 1, and Sheridan's going to reach as Bergman does the roadblock slide. And it's 4-1 Detroit. So Sheridan on for Trammell, who has singled twice. He's 2 for 2. Has walked and scored. And again, modern bullpens really became a thing with Sparky Anderson. Sheridan isn't going anywhere. 2 out here in the 6th. 4-1 Detroit. Gets away from Witt, and Sheridan moves up 90. Wild pitch for Nunez. Jimmy Williams is going to pull his hair out. It has rained all the way through this one, by the way. Wind's blowing out the center at 8 on a 78-degree June afternoon in Detroit. The 3-1. Steve was so damaged How damaged was he? He ended up on the Indians. Ba-doom, boom. Scotty will be here all the week, especially Thursday when his Dodgers play the Reds. That happened a lot in the 70s, John said. Guys like Bill Singer with the Dodgers, Wayne Garland, one of the biggest free agent flops ever, and Jim Bibby. Solid but not great, but were abused. Got him. Nunez gets out of it with just a run on a hit and no errors. We go to the 7th, 4-1 Tigers. So Gruber, Witt, and Barfield to face Terrell here in the 7th. Kelly 0 for 1, a walk and a run scored. And we've had a rain delay of 68 minutes, and so that'll do it for Terrell. We hope you enjoyed the Three Stooges Visit Al Red Sox fan. And so now we got to go to the pen, and it's going to be Paul Gibson. So Gibson gets all the time he needs to warm up. 16th appearance he's made his one start of the year. 28 years old, fastball at 88. And a standard pitcher hasn't pitched in almost a week. Andy Griffith on TBS. We now take you back for an episode of Mama's Family. Today, Mama Harper gets to make guacamole. That's special Mama's Family next here on TBS. And that's my horrible impression of Skip Carey, because someone asked for it. Gibson last pitched on the 12th, 6 days ago against the Indians. The Tigers won that one 12-3, 1 inning and 11 pitches. That start, by the way, came in a win over Milwaukee. So 26 2/3 for Paul, 18 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned. He's walked 7 and struck out 14. He is 3-2, 2 saves and an earned run average of .203. In rain delay, Mama's Family brought to you by Goody's Headache Powder. Do they even sell that anymore? It'll be Gruber, Witt, and Barfield after the rain delay here in the 7th. Kelly 0 for 1. He has walked and scored. The lone run for Toronto, that came in the 2nd. Fly ball, right field. Lemon will make the catch, 1 out for Ernie Witt. Ernie 1 for 2. And as Pat Borders will pinch hit, there's a good chance that Ernie's going to get a hit here. Ground ball to Trammell through the wet grass over to first. And Ernie beat it out. Another infield hit for Ernie Witt. So that's the 5th hit for the Blue Jays. Here's Barfield. Jesse is 0 for 2. And is grounded into a double play. To third, Brookins to Whittaker. And Barfield will reach. So 5-4 on the fielder's choice. Witt, what? Sometimes I don't know what you guys are talking about. Manny Lee is 1 for 2 today. Barfield on first. 4-1 Tigers. Just about stretch time here. There's a ground ball to Whittaker, who makes a fantastic throw to first to retire Manny Lee. Stretch time, 4-1 Tigers. So 4-1 Tigers here as we start the bottom of the 7th. Can't imagine Nunez is going to pitch all that much longer. Evans, Lemon, and Noakes. Darrell 0 for 2 with an RBI. Nunez stays. Line drive to second. Lariano makes the catch, 1 out. It's been rainy here all day, Andrew. Andrew says it's raining in Windsor County. About an hour from here. Chet Lemon 1 for 3, a single with an RBI. It would help. I know they're trying to do this in basketball, to have a unified rule set. Lemon hits a ground ball, third base side. Gruber makes a diving stop just by the bag, throws to first for the out, and there's 2 away. So Gruber, 15 great plays to 6 poor, and is a pretty good third baseman. Here's Noakes. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. There is a pitching prospect, I think he's in college now, that went to Andover in Massachusetts. And so I was watching some video on him. And I gotta say, it was one of the worst fields I have ever seen. It was, you know, you really can't blame the high school fields for being turf. And I don't know if anybody should be sliding into a field turf pit. But the little bit of dirt on the mound was also covered by a piece of carpeted plywood. And so here you got a kid who could potentially make millions of dollars, and you've got him pitching on something that is sturdy as the uncle who had too many Schaefers to drink to build you a swing when you were 9 years old. Pitch to Noakes. Fly ball, right field. Back goes Barfield, and that ball is gone. So Noakes with his 8th of the year, and the Tigers go up 5-1. If this holds, it's a big win for the Tigers. And so you have all these potential $1 million arms and $1 million bats. And I mean, there's videos at levels of, I've sat there, Scotty will appreciate this, because I'll watch a softball video every once in a while, and you'll go through and they'll break down as Ray Knight steps up. He's 0 for 2. He has struck out and been hit by a pitch. They'll break down the mechanics of girls who are sophomores and juniors in high school because they're college prospects. So imagine the pressure you're under at 14, 15, 16 years old. First of all, being 14, 15, 16 years old, and then having everything judged about what's your release point, what's your footwork, what's your arm rotation, out there for the world to see. Pitch tonight. There's a ground ball to Lee, and Manny can't make a play on it. He gets his second error of the year, and that's the first one for the Blue Jays as Knight reaches. So here's Brookins. Time 1. I don't know why the Jays haven't replaced Nunez. Brookins is 1 for 3. He has singled, struck out twice, and scored. So I imagine that those scouting videos are out there for pitchers. And again, playing, I mean, a basketball court's a basketball court's a basketball court. If that makes any sense. Witt and Nunez have a word. Ernie says, why are you still on the mound? Left field, Bell running back to the wall, and that one's gone. So it's Brookins' second home run of the year, and the Tigers have broken this one open 7-1. The 87 divisional champions are making a statement today. And that'll bring in Mark Eichhorn. And as Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams used to sing, too much, too little, too late. So we'll make you watch the home run again. Tribe fan says, as he's quoting Gene Hackman, or paraphrasing Gene Hackman from Hoosiers, you can still take that tape measure, and it's 10 feet from the floor to the rim and the same distance from the free throw line of the rim. 3 points line's the same. Well, except for that one time at band camp. I mean, that was 3 games, dude, at the women's basketball this past tournament, and that was an embarrassment. Scotty says, I enjoy getting to know the softball parents as kids come in at freshmen. They feel that same pressure. In Western Washington, what division is that, Scotty? You know, one of the best athletic schools in the country. Generally a good bunch of folks. Mark Eichhorn making his 23rd appearance. He's 28 years old. Fastball at 87, a ground ball plus pitcher. 2-0, a 2.81 ERA. Pitched 2 days ago against these Tigers. That would have been a Thursday, so this must be a 4-game series. 2 2/3 in a 3-1 loss to the Tigers, who are red hot. 36 pitches, 2 hits, and a walk. Overall for Eichhorn, 41 2/3, 40 hits, 15 runs, 13 earned, 2 homers, 12 walks, and 19 strikeouts. So Bergman at the plate, top of the lineup, righty versus lefty. Dave 1 for 2, the cat protesting out by my door. He has walked twice, singled, and scored. Fly ball, left center field. Well, everybody's going to have a convention to meet about this. I'm not sure anyone's going to get there. Nobody gets there. Liriano, Lee, and Mosby have a jam session, and nobody can make the catch. And for the Tigers, that's their 11th hit. Oh, thank heaven. 7 runs, 11 hits, and an error for Detroit. They've left on 9. The Jays, as we run late today, 1 run, 5 hits, an error, and they've left on 5. So here's Whittaker. Lou 2 for 4. He is singled, hit that home run, and put the Tigers ahead, and struck out. Base hit, right center field. So Eichhorn doesn't seem to be the answer, as both of those runners have reached. Bergman's going to run on Mosby's arm for third. Lloyd throws it back in the infield. And for the Blue Jays, that's the kind of day it's been. So here's Pat Sheridan, 1 for 4. He has singled, struck out twice, and driven in a run. First and third, 2 out. 7-1 Tigers. Ground ball to second. Liriano goes to first, and that'll do it. However, the Tigers get 3 runs on 4 hits in the Blue Jay error, and after 7, 7-1 Tigers. So Paul Gibson, top of the lineup for Liriano, Mosby, and Mullenix. Nelson 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out. Popped up, Noakes to the screen. 1 out. Haven't had any new followers in a while. A couple scammers today, but no new followers. Lloyd Mosby is 0 for 3. And Lloyd draws the walk. First walk for Gibson. 1 out for Mullenix. Rance is 1 for 2. He is singled and walked. Fly ball, left field, Bergman. And Mosby goes back to first. George Bell is 0 for 3. He has grounded into a double play. Ground ball to third. Brookins goes to Whittaker, and that will retire the side. 7.5 in the books. No runs, no hits. The Jays have left on 6. Tigers 7, Toronto 1. So Trammell, Evans, and Lemon to face Eichhorn here in the 8th. Allen 2 for 3. A run scored, a walk, and a strikeout. Base hit left field. Bell throws it back in, and for Allen, that's his 3rd hit. It'll be the Pirates and Mets on Wednesday, and the Reds and Dodgers on Thursday. Big games if we're going to get some races in the National League. And Eichhorn walked him. So Evans, a full count changeup. He took and received. Nobody out for Lemon, 1 for 4. Chet has a single, an RBI, and struck out twice. Witt in Eichhorn says, I just want to go home. Would you just throw a strike, please? He chased a 1-2 fastball, and that's a third for Lemon today, 1 out. Here's Noakes. Matty homered his last time up, 1 for 3, has walked and scored. Hit his 8th and drove in his 27th. Before I forget, a couple of retirements yesterday. First, Vern Lundquist. What a treasure. What an absolute treasure Vern Lundquist was as an announcer. Do you see the video of when, because Tiger was in the first group yesterday at Augusta, of, Vern sitting on a chair underneath the pine tree, and when Tiger walked through, Tiger walked off the green and went out and sought out Lundquist and shook his hand. That's pretty good. Pitch to Noakes. Ground ball to third. Gruber to Liriano to McGriff, and that's a 5-4-3 double play. Yeah, better than most for sure, but that was Gary Cook. No runs, no hits, or 1 hit, and no errors. We go to the 9th. Vern will be missed for sure. Jays need 6 to tie, 7 to keep us here longer. It'll be McGriff, Gruber, and Witt here to face Gibson in the 9th. But yeah, in your life, yesterday was also Mike Gorman's last home game, ending his 43-year run as the primary television announcer for the Boston Celtics. McGriff up the middle. Whittaker's got it, throws to first. Most of those years he worked with Tommy Heinsohn, who was much better as a national announcer, who could do the national announcer stuff really well and be the blatant homer that you would just say, okay, Grandpa, and put your cotton in your ears. 1 out for Gruber. Kelly 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored. But Gorman, at one point, did a lot of college ball, too. One of the best nuts and bolts television play-by-play basketball announcers out there. In 43 years and 1 job, and Vern, 40 years at CBS, which is remarkable. Two legends who, very gracious. Also, it was Jim McKay's son, Son McManus' last day at CBS yesterday, too. To talk about McManus for a minute, he's the one that rescued the CBS Sports Division after they gave up football. And speaking of Vern Lundquist, made the decision on maybe something that Lundquist didn't agree with back in 2000. They had signed Dick Enberg after NBC lost football and made Enberg the number 2 in NFL, which was Vern's position, and said to Vern, we'd really like you to do college football. Vern says, I like the NFL. We'd really like you to do the SEC Game of the Week. And although he wasn't Keith Jackson, and no one is Keith Jackson, he probably was the second best person ever to do college football. Pitch to Gruber. Ground ball to Trammell. Allen on the wet grass throws to Evans. And Gruber is safe on an infield hit on the bang-banger. So 1 out for Ernie Witt. What? 2 for 3. He singled twice. And now we'll pinch hit. Sil Campusano. Draws the honor. Sil as a pinch hitter, hitting 125 with an RBI. Overall, 260. 4 triples, by the way. And 18 RBI. Left field. Bergman. 2 out. So Pirates and Mets on Wednesday is the next time you and I get together. Jesse Barfield 0 for 3. He's grounded into a double play. Last chance saloon here for the Jays. Runner goes, ground ball to the mound. Gibson throws to Evans, and that ends up being an easy win for the Tigers. 7-1 Detroit. U2 Jeff, 7 runs, 13 hits in error, 3 hours and 31 fake minutes, and a 68-minute rain delay in the 7th. So not only did you get an episode of Mama's Family, but Andy Griffith as well. And you may even started one with Leave It to Beaver. Pinch hit home run for Will. Don't call me Walter Prenton. 2-0 Guardians. 7 runs, 13 hits in error. Tigers leave on 12. They go to 36 and 29. Excuse me. They have a game and a half in hand now on the Jays, who fall to 36 and 32. 1 run, 6 hits in error. And they leave on 7. Walt Terrell gets the win. 5-2. The rain delay pretty much knocked him out. 6 innings, 4 hits, an unearned run. He walked 2 and struck out 1. Paul Gibson gets the 9-out save. He allowed 2 hits and a walk. Not everyone passed out all at once. Jim Clancy was done before the raindrops fell. 5 innings, takes the loss, goes to 6-6. Oof. Bermuda Triangle ball, and the Red Sox shortstop and left field just collided. Red Sox are without Trevor Story the rest of the year, too. 8 hits for Clancy, 4 runs all earned, a home run. I believe that was Whittaker's. 3 walks and 8 strikeouts. Nunez, the less we say about that, the better. Eichhorn, an inning and a third, 3 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. And we'll give Brookins the MVP. He drove in 2, scored twice, and went 2 for 4. The rest of this Saturday in baseball before we say so long. Reds shut out the Giants 7-0. Ron Robinson 4-1. Kelly Downs 5-6. Barry Larkin 2 for 4 and 2 doubles. Cleveland beat the Yankees. Woohoo! Doug Jones 3-0. Shields 1-3. Brooke Jacoby 3 for 4. He hits 2 home runs, 2 solo shots. He now has 7 on the year. Oh, if it's Devers, that's huge. Oh, they can't afford to lose Devers. Speaking of losses, Roger Clemens gets shellacked by the Orioles 9-1. Bautista 1-5. Clemens 7-5. Joe Orsulak 3 for 4, 2 RBI and a triple. Cubs steal 5 bases. They beat the Expos 3-1. Greg Maddux, ever heard of him? Goes 6-9. John Dobson 5-2. Sean Dunston steals 3 bases, goes 2 for 4. Oakland in 11 beats Texas 5-2. Dennis Eckersley goes to 2-1. Mitch Williams 2-7. Canseco hits a 17, 2 for 5, and drives in 3. St. Louis over the Pirates 3-1. John Tudor 6-2, so that Pedro trade hasn't happened yet. Fisher 4-4. Tom Brunansky 2 for 3 and 2 doubles. Phillies beat the Mets 5-1. Moore 1-0. Sid Fernandez falls to 5-4. Vaughn Hayes 2 for 4, hits a second and drives in 2. Braves walk 10. Gerald Perry has a 15-game hitting streak, and they beat the Astros. Good thing Steeler fan isn't here. 8-7. Eichelberger 3-1. Juan Augusto falls to 0-3. Ken Griffey Sr. 1 for 2, a stolen base, 2 walks, and a Medicare card. Minnesota beat Seattle 6-5. Charlie Lee goes to 4-3. Bill the Mariner Swift 5-5. Ken Phelps hits 2 homers, drives in 3, goes 2 for 4. Now it's hit 13. Milwaukee beats Chicago 3-2. Wegman, didn't he open up a grocery store? He's 5-4. Melito Perez falls to 5-6, and Dan Plesac saves his 13th. California beats Kansas City 5-4. Chuck Finley 5-4. Floyd Bannister, one of the Bannisters, goes to 5-7. Seitzer 3 for 4 with 2 triples, and the Dodgers snap their 10-game losing streak. They beat San Diego 3-1. Tim Belcher 7-4. Eric Schau 4-6. Franklin Stubbs hits his 4th, goes 1 for 2, and drives in 2. All right, Pirates and Mets Wednesday. Dwight Gooden versus Dunn. And the margin is 7.5. This might be Pittsburgh's last best chance. And then Thursday, it's the Dodgers and the Reds from Cincinnati. Hershiser versus Robinson, and I get to play Pete Rose. So that'll do it. We got some dandies for you this week. If you're wondering what I picked out for June 25th, it's Minnesota and Oakland. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. So the Pirates and the Mets from Shea on Wednesday. I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you then. So long, everybody.